In the dimly lit gyms of Dagestan, a young Khabib Nurmagomedov honed his craft, not knowing that one day he would become the most dominant force in mixed martial arts. Born into a family of warriors, Khabib's father, Abdul Manap, was a decorated martial artist, and it was under his strict tutelage that Khabib began his journey. Growing up in the rugged mountains of Dagestan, the harsh landscapes mirrored the hardships Khabib would face in life and in the octagon. From an early age, he showed immense promise in wrestling, a sport deeply rooted in the region's culture. Khabib's dedication and relentless work ethic were unparalleled, and he soon earned a reputation as a fierce competitor, dominating his opponents with a mix of sambo, wrestling, and an ironclad mentality. When Khabib made the transition to professional MMA, he wasn't just another fighter looking for fame. He carried the legacy of his people on his shoulders, determined to bring honor to his family and his homeland. With his ground game second to none and an unyielding will, Khabib began his rise through the ranks. By December 2010, Khabib was already a force to be reckoned with in the mixed martial arts world. His record was flawless, and his name was starting to be whispered by fans and pundits alike. The Prof Union Nation Cup 12 event was just another stepping stone in his journey, but little did he know, it would be another defining moment that would etch his name further into the history books. Khabib Nurmagomedov, the unseen warrior. Khabib Nurmagomedov, a name less familiar to the global MMA audience, had earned respect in his own right. Coming from a background of judo and sambo, Khabib was a natural grappler. Born and raised in the rugged streets of Makhachev, the capital of Dagestan, Khabib was molded by the same elements that sculpted Khabib. Though not as widely known, he carried the same fierce spirit, and those who had faced him in the cage knew he was a dangerous opponent. Nurmagomedov had built his career quietly but steadily. His style was tactical, precise, and well-rounded. He wasn't known for flamboyant knockouts or flashy submissions, but rather for his ability to control opponents, wearing them down with his relentless pressure. Khabib had a reputation for being a patient and intelligent fighter, always waiting for his opponent to make a mistake, and then capitalizing on it. As the fight between Khabib and Khabib drew closer, many fans had seen Nurmagomedov as the underdog, but in the world of Dagestan, there was no such thing as an easy fight. In this fight, Khabib was not just a competitor, he was a challenge to Khabib's rising legend. The stage is set. Prof Union Nation Cup 12. The Prof Union Nation Cup 12 event was a highly anticipated regional tournament, drawing fighters from across the former Soviet Union to compete for prestige and glory. It wasn't just about the title, but about the respect that came with it. For both Khabib and Khabib, this was a crucial moment. For Khabib, it was another chance to solidify his dominance. For Khabib, it was an opportunity to prove that he belonged among the elite. The arena was buzzing with anticipation. Fans crowded the stands, some of them well aware of Khabib's rise through the ranks. Others had heard whispers of Khabib's tenacity. As the night wore on, the spotlight shifted to the cage. Fighters before them had battled fiercely, but all eyes were now on the two Dagestani warriors who were about to clash. Round 1, the Clash of Titans. As the bell rang to start the first round, the energy in the arena intensified. The fighters circled one another, eyeing each other with a mix of respect and readiness. Khabib, as always, was calm, his face a mask of focus, his body relaxed but ready to strike. Khabib, though a little less polished in his approach, had a sharp look in his eyes, knowing the task at hand. Khabib took the center of the cage, as he always did. His style was unpretentious, yet dominant. He didn't waste energy on feints or showy moves. Khabib's footwork was precise, his movement calculated. He didn't look to brawl, he looked to impose his will, slowly but surely. Khamiz, not one to rush in, took a more measured approach. He knew Khabib's strength lay in his grappling, and he was determined to avoid the takedown. But Khabib wasn't going to give him that luxury. Like a predator closing in on its prey, Khabib stalked Nurmagomedov, waiting for the moment to strike. And then it happened. Khabib's first move was a clinch, a move that would set the tone for the fight. He closed the distance quickly and pressed Khamiz against the cage. Nurmagomedov fought to defend, using his own grappling skills to try to neutralize Khabib's efforts. But Khabib's strength was overwhelming, his pressure constant. Khamiz tried to break free, looking for an opening to counter, but Khabib wasn't about to let him off the hook. With a swift motion, Khabib transitioned into a single-leg takedown, pulling Khamiz to the ground with ease. The crowd roared as Khabib's dominance became clear. On the ground, Khabib's top control was suffocating. Khamiz struggled to escape, but Khabib's positioning was impeccable. Khabib smoothly passed to full mount, a position that seemed almost inevitable when he fought. From there, he began to unleash a barrage of strikes, softening Nurmagomedov up, wearing him down with his relentless assault. The end approaches, Khabib's signature submission. Khamiz, though tough and resilient, began to realize the magnitude of the task he had ahead of him. His escapes were futile, and the more Khabib pressed, the more his options dwindled. Khabib, now in full control, looked for the finish. As Nurmagomedov tried to scramble, Khabib seized the moment. In a seamless transition, Khabib moved from dominant position to lock in a triangle, choke, a submission he had perfected over years of practice. Khamiz's attempts to defend were futile. Khabib's grip was like iron, and soon Nurmagomedov found himself trapped, his body in an almost impossible position. The referee hovered over them, watching closely as Khabib applied more pressure. Triangle choke tightened, and Nurmagomedov's resistance began to wane. The crowd could feel the tension building, knowing that the fight was nearing its end. At 3:15 of the first round, Nurmagomedov was forced to tap out. Crowd erupted in cheers as Khabib stood, victorious once again. He had extended his undefeated record, his reputation growing with every victory. The aftermath, respect and legacy. Khabib's victory over Khamiz Nurmagomedov was another chapter in his storied career, a reminder to the world that there was no one like him. His submission game was flawless, and his control over the fight was near perfection. But it was not just his technical skill that impressed people, it was his heart, his determination, and the way he carried the spirit of Dagestan with him into every battle. For Khamiz Nurmagomedov, the loss was hard, but it was also a learning experience. He had faced one of the best fighters in the world, and though he had come up short, he had gained invaluable experience. As Khabib left the cage that night, there was no fanfare, no trash talk, no drama, just quiet pride. He knew this was just another step on his journey. The world had yet to see what he was truly capable of. But for now, the Profk Union Nation Cup 12 was another victory, another moment to cement his legacy.